Alright guys, I'm going to show you how to check if you need struts. Now, the best way, quickest way, is you take the corner of a vehicle and you push down on it, up and down, and let it go. If it bounces more than twice, then your struts are no good. That's not your coil springs, that's your struts. So we're going to go ahead and then let it go. Yeah, you see how many times that thing rocked? Yeah, buddy, that thing need. And guys, you definitely, when you need struts, you definitely want to change that as quick as possible. Because if you don't, you're guaranteed that it starts messing up the rest of the suspension parts in the front. And this one has a lot of stuff that's messed up, but that's for other videos. Alright, so the first thing we do is we're going to jack this up and get this up on jack stands. We'll be right back. Alright guys, before we begin, safety is number one. Before you start any job, you make sure this vehicle is secured securely enough. Alright, so we got the car jacked up, and as you can see back there, we got our jack stands, and we got our hydraulic jack here left just in case, as added security. But we're going to be removing that, so don't depend on that. We got our jack stands. Now, our jack stands is set down on concrete, a good solid foundation. If you're not on concrete, definitely use a 2x12 piece of plywood to put up under to serve as a base for the jack stand. Do not trust anything else, and especially do not trust particle board. That stuff will rip apart. And also, guys, I'm going to say this: really don't trust a brick either, because sometimes a brick will break. They're easy to break. All right, now that we got that done, let's move on. We'll be right back. All right, guys. The next thing we're going to do is remove the tire. Now, your tire is going to have a little center cap on it. And on your center cap, there's going to be a little opening to take you a flat screwdriver, put in there, and pop that right out. Then you're going to have 5 19mm lug nuts. 6, I'm sorry, don't be correcting me. Give me time to correct myself. 19mm lug nuts. 6 of them. So, we got a 19mm deep, half-inch drive, 7. And then we got our cordless impact. So I want you to go ahead and remove both tires. Alright? We'll be right back. Alright guys, next thing we do, take your hydraulic jack and get you a block of wood. You want to set that right up under your lower ball joint. And then you want to pick it up and just set a little bit of pressure on it. Okay? Next thing you want to do is take you a 24mm socket, half-inch drive. And then your strut is a bolt that comes right here, a nut right here. I'm going to put that up there. Get your half-inch drive gun and remove that nut. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is take out the nuts to the top of the strut. But you're going to have your air cleaner assembly that's in the way. So you got to remove that. You got a clamp over here, going to your throttle body, that you're going to loosen up. Then you got your air temperature sensor. There's going to be a tab on this side that you're going to squeeze into the connector and then pull back. Turn it over. There's your little tab right there, and you're just going to squeeze that in and unplug it. The next thing you're going to do is over here you're going to have 3. This one looks like it's loose already. And you can use multiple things, but I'm going to use a flat screwdriver. You're going to unscrew that one. Then up here,
one second, I don't know why I'm blurry. Okay.
Then you got one right here. And then you got one right down into here, but it looks like that one's loose. Let me see. Let me take it up and see. Pick this thing up. Loose. This screw right there. Alright, put that down to the side. Now you're going to have a connector under here, breather hose. On each side of this, you're going to squeeze in and then unplug it. So you're going to squeeze that in and then pull that down. Then you can take this whole tube assembly off of the car. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, what you're going to see now is your two 18mm nuts to holding up the strut. You got one right there. Can you see that one? And then number two is right on the other side of the AC hose. So I'm going to be using an 18mm deep 1/2 inch drive. I'm going to be using a 1 inch wobble extension and a 1.5 inch 1/2 inch straight extension. Put it down on one and get my cordless impact. And be sure you have your jack up under that lower control arm. Okay, that's one. And number two. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, Sylvia just asked a good question. She said, what about the one in the middle? Do not touch that one in the middle. That one's to the strut tower and it's holding that coil spring together. You take that apart, man, when you go down to the bottom, that thing will come apart. And these coil springs are so compressed that if they happen to pop loose, it will do some serious damage. To you. There are some stories where people broke their nose and everything. Just tore their whole face up. Just messed their whole grill right up. Soup for everybody. Soup forever. I gotta stop. I better not do that. All right, guys, let's go to the bottom. We'll be right back. All right, guys. The next thing you want to do is we need to pop this thing out of here. Now, this thing is like held on like an outer tie rod. It's made concave, so you cannot pry it off right now. You're gonna have to really use the method called shock and awe. We're gonna hit this side right about here with a nice size hammer, and it's gonna shock that joint out of there. But make sure you still got your hydraulic jack there. That's at it. Now, if you want, guys, if you're not, matter of fact, let me do this. What's that? The nut that to go to this. If you want, guys, take the nut, put the nut up there, so in that way you protect your threads in case you hit it with a hammer. Then you want to take your hammer, just like that, and that joint, did you see that pop out of there?
Yeah, I saw it move.
Okay, now, again, make sure you have tension up on this. It's loose, let's let it bring it down. You know what, this thing is, it's really stuck up there. So let's get our 24mm. And let's take it off, lower it down, and dang it, still kind of stuck up there. Something's wrong with this. This strut looks like it's really moving, like something is wrong. I hope this thing ain't broke. Because if this thing is broke, guys, man, I hope not. But let's find out, because right now, I'm all for that. So put it up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is get me a pry bar and pry that out slowly. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm going to take a pry bar. Then you got your brake hose right here. So I'm going to go on this side of the brake hose and down and in between those two. Now guys, again, now you got this coil spring right here. Your strut is in the middle of that. And your strut's got a rod, just like a shock. And then you got the strut tower with the two bolts on the top, and they holding that together. If this, now this thing is really messed up. If that rod in there is broken, that means when I pop this off, that whole thing's gonna come all apart. I mean, and it could be an issue here. So you want to look at this and make sure that when you pop that off, what can happen. And I'm looking at this thing popping out like this. So you want to be very careful when you go to find this thing. Heck yeah. That thing looks like it. Alright guys, now when I do this, I'm going to back up.
You quit giving me a little bit of time to move.
Alright.
What in the world?
Alright, yeah buddy, it came out.
Yeah, it came out.
Alright, there we go. Alright, now let's get some tools here so we can put the new one on. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, now what you're going to need is an 18mm deep 1/2" drive with your cordless impact and an 18mm wrench. Because you're going to put your wrench right here. You're going to go ahead. Take that out. Now, taking this out, sometimes it might just come right out and you might have to use a hammer or something. Or, what you can do is, I'm going to try this. We're going to take a little chisel and you put the chisel right between there and you take a hammer and hit it. And it's going to open that up because the bolt nose squeezes that and make sure it's squeezed together. So, you know, let's do that method. And what you want to do also, guys, let's set this on a piece of block of wood up under here. Alright, so let's get that and we'll be right back. Alright guys, let's take our block of wood. Stick our block of wood up under there. Oh, right there. Somewhere right there. Let's get us a chisel. And that one, you want to make sure you get a chisel. And make sure the chisel don't go all the way in and touch the strut. But then you'll be defeating the purpose. This one is good. Take our hammer. You can actually saw that open up a little bit. See if it's enough to come out of there. Not yet. So what I'm going to do here is take the chisel this way. That way, leave the chisel in there and take that right out of there. Now let's see if there's an alignment on this or anything before we take this out, because it looks like it actually...
You already took it out.
Yeah, but I'm putting it back to where it was, so...
How do we know that?
Trust me, I did. How you know I did?
I don't know you did.
You see the little opening right there? See how it's a mark and then a mark? Because it's weird. Yeah, so that's how I know it went right there. Now, actually, we can just leave that loose and let's get our new strut. We'll be right back. Alright, guys, we got our new one here. Now, guys, you don't have to be perfect in putting this back on your alignment. The main reason because this strut tower turns. It spins because when you're turning the wheel, it's got to win. So you don't got to be perfect. But you got to try to be close. Now, I can see my bolts up here, the studs up here. Is going straight like this, so I'm lining my other one up straight enough, straight like that. So then I'm gonna take that off, put that on, and I'm gonna be right about there. Take this out. Okay. Get our nut and bolt. Put it in there. Now, as you can see, you see this like groove right here? You have to make sure this is on, that your bolt can go right in there. Looks like I might have to... Okay. Again, it don't have to be perfect. Alright, let's get that tightened up. Turn it over this side. 18mm. And tighten it up. Alright guys, that looks good. Yeah, buddy. Alright, the top of it. Let's take off the 2 nuts. And see, they give you a warning also. Do not take off that nut. Don't take it off. You'll be in a world of trouble. Alright, let's take these off and let's get ready to install this. We'll be right back. Alright guys, I took my jack out of the way because I need this thing to go down as far as possible. Now, this is what I mean by how it's concave. If you look inside there, you can see it towards you, it's bigger. Then as it goes down there, it gets smaller. Answer me, Sivvy.
Sure.
Okay, so the big end gonna go over that first. So what we're gonna do first is bring our strut assembly up, line up the holes to where they're supposed to go, then go down and push it on to that slowly. Now that we got that in there, we're gonna take out 2 nuts, and these are different sizes. This is like a 15 or something. If you can look right, you can actually look right through here, guys. You can see the top. We're gonna put the nuts on there. Start them off by threads, by a couple threads, so we don't get them cross-threaded. And then we're gonna go to the top and tighten them up. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, there are 15mm. Now, guys, you want to make sure you do not over-tighten these because you can snap them off if you're using a 1/2-inch impact gun. I'm going to be using my little impact, 3/8 impact gun with a 15mm deep, 3/8 drive. I'm going to go in there. 1, 2. Cool. All right. Now, if you want, guys, this side is up here is done. So if you want, well, actually what we're going to do, guys, now, since we got that up there, we don't have to worry about that no more. We're going to go ahead, hook up our air temperature sensor till it clicks into place. Put the tube on over here. Got our breather right here. It just goes up there and it will click into place. Okay, our air filter sets down just like that. And we're going to put our cover on because we're done with it. And tighten up those 3 screws. Alright, let's get that done and we'll be right back. Alright guys, before we continue on, we're not going to show you on video how to do the driver's side because it's exactly the same. But what I do need to show you is that here's your strut tower bolts right there, the nuts that we got to come out. And we do 18mm bolt nuts. On this one back here, what you're going to use is an 18mm shallow with your wobble extension. And I got a 12-inch, but use a 6-inch 1/2-inch drive extension. And that way, you can go just like that. Okay, I better push that down a little bit. Go just like that, and you can avoid the master cylinder. Alright, and this one you can use, go straight right on. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, now we're ready to just turn our strut a little bit just to get this onto this joint. Now some guys, you might, I don't know, there might be a video out there that say, Tim, why don't you just take off this nut and bolt as it is and just replace it just like that? Because there's a good chance that there's not enough room for you to bring that strut all the way out of there. Because you can, when it's dropped all the way, that's it. Then you're gonna be looking stupid in the face, and you still gotta take it apart. All right, so let's turn this, get that on just like that. Get our 24mm nut.
Wait, but what did you do?
Because remember I told you how you can twist that.
So you turned
I just grabbed it like this and turned it
until it went in.
Until it went in, right.
Okay.
And now, get your 24mm socket, your 1/2-inch drive impact, and tighten that nut right up. Perfect, guys. That is done. Now, again, I said, now guys, you can see right here, stay tuned for the video of this. You can see the upper control arm bushings are just messed up. All because when your struts is bad, it starts messing up everything. Everything on this front end is pretty messed up. Alright, so we're going to do the other side, and then we're going to lower the vehicle down, and we're going to do that push test again. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, let's lower this down. Alright, now, let's go to this corner. That's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Job well done.